welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's New Mutator, and I have with me a special guest caster, PunkUser.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for joining me here. We're actually going to be looking at one of the QR2 matches. This is Wayward One leading the Agents, I guess, is what they're called. And they're going to be squaring off with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the black up in the north.
Yeah, it should be sort of interesting. I know there was a bit of an upset in the first QR week where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were sort of expected to win, but didn't end up doing that. So, be curious. I mean, I know the result of this match, of course, but I'm really curious to see how the individual games go.
Absolutely, yeah, me too. So this is the game one, and a Poison Holiday is the name of this map. Flag Rally is the name of the game type. And it's yeah, we have a little bit of time. What have you looked at the unit trades?
Have they done them yet? I'm not.
Yeah, they have.
I guess they must have done them. Yeah. A lot of warriors.
Yeah, for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, on this map, Heron are really powerful, so I think everyone pretty much trades for full, which
Yeah.
is, I guess, 12. Yeah, because running around is pretty important. Lots of Gull as well, but I guess the main difference is lots of warriors on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and basically no archers, whereas Wayward One went
Well,
for
two
more
archers.
archers. Yeah,
Precise.
but compared to Wayward One, which got, I guess, 12. That's
Right.
the main difference in the trade.
Yeah, and this, this map is really interesting. This and I think there's a couple other maps that do this as well, where you start out with a few fire arrows in your base, I guess, and you have the option of picking those up and using them.
Yeah, so I guess the argument compared to them starting on archers is that any archers you get past 6 won't have a flame arrow. But even given that, it looks like the GKGs elected to, I guess not use 6 of them.
Another thing too that I notice is that agents are opting for a couple of extra dwarves, and these are just regular dwarves. They're not dwarven heroes.
Yeah, good point. Although, yeah, I mean, versus warlocks, they're a little bit
They're a little iffy.
iffy, definitely. I
But it
mean,
is Flag
seeing
Rally.
both trades and seeing how many warriors they have, maybe that's a good one.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this map in general?
I haven't played this map too much, to be honest. I've played it a few times, and I've casted a few games on this map. I just don't think I've mastered it to the point where I can speak definitively on like how to play it. So I'm not really sure. I know there's a lot of these hills that are good for like Solus and stuff, but beyond that, I mean, this is kind of a lightish variant, so they're not really going to be utilized all that much. Um,
Yeah, I think this is the only trade that I've seen used and played on this map. But normally, I've played it CTF, and I actually really don't like it CTF because I find it just ends up bottlenecking across the middle, right? Like it just gets too hard to push, especially on the which side is it? On the well, I guess kind of both sides, but particularly on the flanks, it's really easy to just sort of get some warlocks and block off those river
Yeah.
crossings, right?
yeah, it definitely rewards kind of a
Flag
turtle-ish
captured.
approach to playing.
Yeah, so I'm hoping Flag Rally is a little bit more interesting.
Flag
Yeah, we'll see.
captured.
It's so far it looks like a Giant Killer Generals team. He recently told me he doesn't like it when I say Giant Killer General. So
Flag
GKG's team,
captured.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Flag
or TMNT, I guess I should say.
There you go.
They've taken the lead. They're up 4 flags to 2. And however, agents have kind of
Flag
taken over the middle
captured.
island area, so they've got that going for them. But I guess they've lagged a little bit, tagging their back flags.
Right. Yeah, I guess it was mainly that they got.
Flag.
Oh no, they didn't get 5. I guess they got 4 pretty quickly. Yeah. Okay.
And it doesn't look like they tagged flag 8 for whatever reason,
Yeah, you're right.
which is kind of interesting since that's kind of the flag they're expected to tag, or one of them.
Yeah. True. So hold up, did they tag 1 too? No. Oh, there we go.
However, it looks like agents are kind of pushing in the east. It looks like Paris is kind of on his way up north, and he's going to kind of be spotted there by Osmodian, it looks like.
Right. So why, actually what I'm a little curious about is Eastwind and Rat King sort of have, in fact they have all their HG on the west side of the map, but they actually already have that flag. So I'm curious why they have the sort of rushy units over there.
Flag.
But
Which flag? I mean flag...
Flag 4. They're pushing Flag 4 right now, but they've already tagged it, so I guess they're just trying to get through to the next one.
Yeah, both teams have Flag 4. Yeah, that's kind of curious. Maybe they just want to out BC. They see like an opportunity and they want to take it. Perhaps.
Yep. I mean, they do have an opportunity here to sneak by on the far edge of the map. That's not being covered right now.
No, I was speaking with Eastwind, and he did tell me that he had a little bit of issues with a delay for some reason, like his something was going on with...
Yeah, he said something about Dropbox or something, was
yeah.
uploading files or something,
Yeah, precisely. So I don't know if that's going to be an issue here or not, but just keep that in mind for this match. And also QR1, I think he said that happened as well. So
I'm supposed to not make fun of him as much or something? Like
something like that.
It seems like if there was an issue, it's his fault for doing it, so...
Looks like Paris is going to kind of run in here to... where Osmodian is, and there goes one warrior. I guess he's going to try to take out 3 warriors with his 1 Heron Guard. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. Nope.
Ooh.
Okay, interesting. And then he... Very bizarre. Very bizarre tactics being displayed here. He is going to retreat.
Yeah.
He has 1 heal left on that.
So it looks like Kruniak's moved to cut off that flank on the west now. Honestly, I don't think Eastwind and Rat King have enough to push this side.
Yeah, and actually, if you look at the percentages, agents are surprisingly up a lot, and GKG losing a few of these warriors to that dwarf, so Kruniak was able to capitalize on that position.
Looks like ours is trying to move to pinch Paris here on the east side.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think he's going to make it in time, though. So definitely a commanding flag lead for agents at the moment.
Yeah, so I'm actually kind of surprised that some flag shenanigans from the get-go. Like, agents didn't tag flag 8 until pretty late in the game. However, they were able to kind of push ahead and take a commanding lead.
I mean, I think at this point, they're having trouble. Not that their trade is bad, but they're having trouble pushing against these guys without archers, right? And then the alternative is Pus, but they don't seem to have enough at the moment. And of course, rushing warlocks with Pus is always a little bit questionable too.
Yeah, most definitely. You can do it. There's a way to kind of bait.
Yeah, you can waste their mana and stuff and then back off, or you can just use a blocking unit too. But
that's pretty complex.
It's dicey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you get them, you're losing a unit doing it. So
yeah, so at best, it's a trade-off.
Yeah, so this is typical of my experience with this map, namely a lot of sitting around. A little bit of minor pushing, but a pretty...
like you mentioned, the entry points are pretty narrow, so
right.
It's hard to get through.
Yep.
There's more than one entry point, obviously, but they're not that far from each other, so you have vision of where the enemy's trying to move, so you can close those up pretty easily.
Definitely, yep. So this mid is interesting because Merc... I think unit trading value-wise, he has about the same as what he's facing, but there's no way he can push this middle island, right? So he's just playing defensively. But conversely, honestly, I think August over there could really use that extra warlock from mid to help them push.
Definitely, August has no artillery at all, so he's kind of stuck.
So they have the majority of their HG all over here on this west side, but no really practical way of pushing with it without taking huge amounts of damage. So I guess August said he's going mid now. So that sounds like a better plan to me, because with all those HG, they can definitely rush mid.
Yeah, I would say that you know, it looks like they're mobilizing to kind of push on that middle force, because there's really not much to it. There's just a warlock there.
Yep.
But it looks like a Zach, or no, Professional Killer is actually moving. Why would Zach be in this game? I just saw this. Professional Killer is moving across to try to reinforce that.
Yeah, and it looks like he got it across. Sometimes that one's tough because you have to walk across sort of horizontally. You know, you're a little vulnerable to warlocks, but it looks like he got across fine, so this might end up making it a lot more painful.
Uh-oh. Looks like Eastwind does end up losing that Puskull, so that's going to be kind of a botched job there. And while this is happening, it looks like Sam is going to try to push up against Rat King, so kind of a counter push in the west there. So the way that I see this kind of playing out is, you know, as time, as there's less and less time in the game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles need to make a move at some point, since they are, you know, they're not in the lead. You know, whoever's not in the lead, it's basically on them to make a move. So they have to try to figure out what they want to do to regain the lead. Otherwise, Agents can just rest on their laurels and take the win.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, Agents reinforced mid almost immediately, which put an end to that rush before it even started, right?
Yep, and you know, then they had to kind of reposition to repel that that west force, and it looks like a
couple archers taken out on the east, but I don't think they have enough time to really do much. They might be able to grab 5, but
yeah, Kuniak loses his dwarf. It looks like yeah, Osmodian and Arsenic are going to be pushing in the east, and they might be able to do something with August here, as they are kind of pushing on Limp.
Yeah, I think they'll get 5, but I don't think they'll have time to get to 8.
Yeah, they just got 5. Let's see, they got a couple minutes, so I think if they hurry, they can probably
good pass on that warlock there.
Yeah, good pass, but the warlock had a nice shot on its way out, so it's 58-54%, so it's pretty close.
Victory imminent.
But
yeah, but I mean the big advantage.
Already, so
exactly.
Only flag 2.
Oh, good shot. Mid might lose its warlock. Nope. Too far.
Didn't quite see it. Yeah, so flag 2 is the last remaining flag that Agents need.
Which I don't think they'll get, to be honest, but they don't need it, right?
However,
like, I mean, there's no way that they
do,
cap all the flags in this time, right?
They just need to defend 3 flags. Yes, and so while all this is happening, I mean, they can happily abandon flag 6. You know, because there's nobody in the area from the Turtles to take.
I mean, if they wanted to be really lame, they could just go back and defend 1 flag. Like, they could just go defend 7 and win, right?
Yeah, they could just defend 7, and it looks like that's, you know, they have a few thrall, but it's not a whole lot. But you know, all they really need to do is blunt this advance.
I mean, 1 minute is not enough time for artillery to walk to the base, so I don't think there's much that they can do at this point.
Right, so the whole point, I think, with the Turtles trading heavy on warriors and not so much on archers was kind of for a situation kind of like this, where they have to be mobile. And however, I'm just not sure if I see this working in their favor. They have less than a minute remaining in this game, and there's nobody that's going to get there in time. And basically, they need to take both flags. Well, all 3 flags.
All 3, yeah, which there's no way they do.
They might be able to take this flag,
30
flag
seconds
8.
remaining.
I think they'll probably take flag 8.
7 is just too much stuff there, right?
No. There you can see Agents, you know, basically running back. Professional Killer is on his way. Kryptos is on his way, so they're rushing to reinforce, and August just doesn't have enough to be able to...
Oh yeah, a bunch of those HG just went down too. I mean, there's no way they can push up that hill without taking massive damage like they just did, so...
So the advantage of flag 7 defending that over flag 6, for example, is that it is on that raised platform.
Yep.
so you can defend it a lot more easily. As you can see, there's only 4 entry points in there, and
Yep.
so that means they're going to be
Flag
bottlenecked on their way
captured.
up. So that worked out for agents, and that's going to be the game.
Sure did. Yeah, I mean, I felt like with the trade that they went with, letting the other team get those early caps just basically screwed them, right?
Yeah, that put them on the back foot, and I don't know if Turtles were able to. I don't know if any team would have been able to come back from that. Like, I'm not sure how you would do that. You would basically everything would need to just work in your favor. You would have to exchange shots, but not lose your units. In the war of attrition.
Yeah, I mean, normally with a trade like that, you rely heavily on pus or whatever, but the lines on this map are so small that it's hard to get around behind to pus things. Warlocks tend to just cut it off.
Yeah, definitely. So looking at the players in this game, it looks like Kruniak actually pulling it out for his team. 16 kills to only 6 losses. He had 43 damage, which is probably the most in the game, it looks like. So.
Yeah, I think he was on the west side, facing off against that big Heron army, so he probably got a lot of damage off, putting lock shots into them.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see, the battlefield over here is peppered with all kinds of explosions and that kind of thing. So definitely a lot of action out over here in the west. And he did kind of pop up in the north and kind of run interference while that middle rush was botched by the Turtles. So there is that too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think what they did was terrible, but I think ultimately their Heron got tied up. Like, a lot of their unit trading points got tied up on one side of the map and bottlenecked for the majority of the game, right?
Absolutely. So yeah, it doesn't look like anybody really did exceedingly well. Osmodian had the most damage for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with 23. Arsenic had 22. Osmo 7 kills, 8 losses. So Eastwind, of course, struggling with his delay, as he said. But that's probably going to do it for game 1. And so I guess we'll see you in game 2.
Game over.
Alright, and we're back. It's game 2 in the QR2 match between Agents and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's a new mutator here, and once again joined by PunkUser.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. So, Agents actually won the first game, and it actually wasn't really close at all, to be honest. I mean, not really. It was sort of close in percentages for a while. But
yeah, I mean, it wasn't a blowout in terms of BC or anything, but I don't think they ever had a chance of winning past the first,
right.
5 minutes of the game.
Type, it wasn't really close. But Turtles, of course, hoping to turn things around. This is a really odd. Look at this trade. 3 Forest Giants. What kind of unit set is this? This is what is the name of this?
It is strange.
Vertigo?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Vertigo and its territories. So a little bit different than Flag Rally, of course. I'm not too familiar with this map, to be honest.
Yeah, so we played this in the Winter Series, but it was King of the Hill, so it ended up just being only about that weird little ramp in the middle.
Yeah, definitely, I remember that.
And I mean, the relevant bit for that was that the forest giants and spiders could walk over that, but I mean, given that there's no flag there in territories, that may not be as important.
Yeah, so that's an interesting point. So forest giants, spiders, and Solus are going to be able to kind of go on impassable terrain, which is, a significant portion of this map. Between the elevations and then on the rock formations and stuff like that in the deep water as well.
Yeah, now to be fair, I think there is... Yeah, I think spiders and Solus can go over pretty much anything. I think FGs can go over one more level of difficult than normal units, but I'm not sure they can go over everything. There might still be impassable terrain for them.
So have you looked at the trades at all? It looks like Turtles are going pretty heavy on the ghasts, which is interesting. Fast ghasts.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the point in those is to dissuade forest giants from coming and smacking your artillery, basically.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. Look at the Turtles. They have 6 warlocks and Agents opted for 0.
Yeah, Warlocks and Soulless on Turtles, right?
Yeah,
and
Dwarven Heroes.
no Merc and very few HG. The very few HG is the one that's oh, I see. They don't come with heals on this map.
Ah.
I was about to see, that would have been questionable because you can heal Forest Giants, of course, but you only get 2 heals on the ground, it looks like, so I guess that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Flag captured.
And
Interesting.
Team the Agents. Okay, there we go. They didn't. What is going on?
Flag
Okay,
captured.
now they
but they
figured
got
out.
white.
Now they figured out that they need to pick up the
Flag
heals first. Okay, there we go. So I doubt they'll heal any white. Or never mind.
Yeah,
they
Agents
use the
are-
heals on
Agents are healing
whites.
However, the Turtles looks like they sank a white, and I don't know if
Interesting.
they're going to be sinking the other white or not. That's an
So-
interesting choice.
Pus is powerful versus Forest Giants.
Definitely.
But at the same time, using your only heals means that your Forest Giants can just get ticked down, right?
Yep.
And since FGs heal higher than Trow do,
Yeah.
heals are even more powerful, right?
Yes. So
I'm interested to see how that plays out.
yeah, definitely, because Turtles kind of have a
Flag
slight
captured.
advantage in that they have heals for their Forest Giants, whereas the
Flag
heals for Agents were
captured.
used on to get Pus, which could work
Flag
in their favor, but
captured.
it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, so it looks
Actually,
like
wait,
both
yeah.
teams are gonna put their Solus sort of. Actually, hold up. Yeah. So the Turtles are pushing a little heavier. They have a few more Solus here, but
Yeah,
there's similar sorts of trades in the middle. It looks like, except for the Warlocks, of course.
Yeah, there are a couple of dwarves as well for Turtles, whereas there are dwarves but no warlocks for Agents. So
Right.
that is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it looks like the Forest Giants can basically walk over anything on this
Oh,
map
yes.
at least. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Maybe not deep water,
They're
but
OP, man.
they
so
totally are.
overpowered.
Yeah, no question. So there's 2 types though. I think there's like the good ones, which are the ones on this map too, and then there's
Yeah.
like the crappy TFL ones that are on a few other
They're
maps.
a little bit more crappier, yeah.
Yeah,
I
a
wouldn't
little
say
bit more
crappy,
balanced is
but-
what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh man, so the one advantage with Dwarven Heroes is that they can block Warlock shots pretty much
Yes.
guaranteed. There's no bounce or
I don't think they dud at all,
fizzle
right?
or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah. So
So there you see that happening there with Limp blocking Murkerdons.
yeah, the only thing that can happen with them is they can get faked out if they commit to the throw too early. But
Nothing
Flag
a taunt
captured.
interrupt can't.
so there's a lot of stuff mid, which is interesting because mid to
that's
me
the
seems
typical
pretty.
thing.
It is, but mid only has 2 flags and territories, and it seems pretty hard to push with the Solus here. Although it looks like they might give it a try.
Yeah, it looks like who is this? Osmodian is going to indeed attempt something here with his Solus. He's kind of moving in on Paris here.
Yeah.
The thing about mid though is that it's strategically invaluable. In that it's equidistant to basically all the points on the map.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Although given that there's only like a couple exits from mid, well, I guess if you're considering the spiders, yes, but realize for all the
And
other
the
units,
forest
Flag.
yeah, sure, and the Solus, but for the regular units, there's only 2 ways out of mid, right?
Ooh, that was close. August almost warlocked himself there.
Oh, he's gonna lose a bunch of souls here. Yeah. Oh, just 1. Wow.
Yeah, Wayward One is on the retreat. It looks like he might lose a few more.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I honestly
one
think they
goes down.
fell back a little too easily there, but I guess they didn't really have.
They did collapse, but
Any
while all
warlocks.
this is happening, it looks like Limp is kind of mid, and he's kind of making a move as well, though he's going to take a lot of punishment here if he's not careful. Yeah, it looks like he's in a terrible position. Cryptos.
I mean,
and
they're
committed
like
to
all
this.
those units are pinched at this point, right? Like, there's only 2 ways out of mid. We just discussed, right? They have nowhere to go.
And it looks like they are going to rush Osmodian and Murkerdon. They take out one warlock.
Oh, bad. Oh, okay, it worked out. I was concerned about that dwarf shot there.
Oh, okay, so they held on to one warlock. They only lost one.
Surprised how poorly those
Flag.
gas did against the Mercuridia there. Did they not freeze them?
Well, the thing with gas is they don't attack very fast.
I hear you, but there were enough of them. I would have thought they would have froze the
Yeah,
merc.
I mean, it's all about the micro, right? Like, if they're all freezing the same unit, it's not really going to matter too much.
It's true. Yep. Yeah, you almost want to use backwards regular melee skills, right?
Yeah, like exactly what you wouldn't normally do.
Yep.
But in the in this particular moment, it looks like the turtles are doing
5
rather
minutes
well.
remaining.
They got them completely surrounded, right? I would not want to be, Kruniak and
Agents
PK
right now,
and
yeah,
Limp right now.
PK is in a world of hurt, it seems. I don't know if he's disconnecting or what, but he is just sitting there taking it. There he goes. I don't know if that's the captain moving his units or what, but
Yep.
not exactly stellar play there by PK. I don't know.
I mean, their FG and stuff can get away, but they have too many units here that can't.
Yeah,
have
all
nowhere
of
to
these
run.
units are basically landlocked.
There's enough time in the game too that they can just BC these units and then go run and cap. So
Yeah, definitely. There's 4 minutes left, and the turtles have the flag advantage. They just need one flag, and they're not really around there. But
have you seen any of the pus go down? I don't think they really have an opportunity to make use of that.
I saw a few Puskulls just get killed. I don't know if I
Yeah.
saw Pus
Flag
used,
captured.
effectively against Forest Giants though.
Oh boy.
Looks like Eastwind is going to chase Sam out. Paris actually gets the kill on that Warlock there, but
Yep. That's a little bit risky, but worked out.
he's going to take a little bit of damage from those. So the thing with the Dwarven heroes that's really good is you just hold on to your satchels, and
Yes.
that acts as kind of a deterrent so the
Yep.
Forest Giants don't kill you, because they'll just automatically set everything off
Yep.
and take a bunch of damage themselves.
This is looking bad. The Solus are moving around up on the hill there too. It looks like they let them out on the bottom though. I think that's a little bit of a mistake. See, there's that ring on the north. The turtles just completely let them out on the south side.
Yeah, I see that. Who is this?
I think they could have just basically been running around there with a
Yeah,
with
they
an
coulda trapped
with an
them.
FG and a Warlock and
Definitely. But does it really matter too much? I mean, they have.
they're way
almost
ahead. You're right.
double
I don't think it's
percentages.
unless they do something stupid, but
They pretty much have this game. They just need one flag. Unfortunately, they're not tagging it, but I guess they'd prefer to play the.
there's a missed pus there. Oh, and Dud too.
I didn't see it. Where was it?
Flag.
Just
Ooh,
on
case in
Eastwind's.
point, Eastwind just took a ton of damage, slapping.
Oh, hitting that. Yep.
that.
Oh, yeah, almost stoned his own guy.
Yeah, he almost got. Basically, almost.
Here's
died.
where those heals should come in if they're still around.
Yeah, if they have them, we'll see in a minute. But Samuel's Forest Giant is pretty low as well, and I don't know if they have any heals.
Dwarven hero getting taken out by a spider. Oh, not before it gets a revenge shot though. Ouch.
Where was it? Where are you looking?
This is the south entrance. It just killed a dwarf. Might get a second one. Yep. Got a second one in, and Heron.
Flag contested.
I didn't. I don't think I caught that.
Yeah, it's fine. So yeah, letting them out bottom, I think there was a bit of a mistake, but at the same time, they're so far ahead now. I don't think it
I
matters.
see its corpse though. The
Yeah.
dwarf you're referring to.
Great.
Looks like Arsenic is just going to shadow Kruniak, which is probably the best thing to do. There they are,
Yep.
exchanging blows.
Let's see if this white here comes into play. Theoretically, it could hit a couple of these melee if they come south.
Osmodian's white that's out of the water. It's floating
August. No, August has one in the water to the
around. Oh yeah, I see it.
south of
Yeah,
that.
looks like that would be the prime time to use it, but I don't know if he's aware that
Flag
it's there. Or
captured.
what.
I was thinking about
Might
it.
as
He
well
might
use it to kill,
1 minute
one or two.
remaining.
Yep, he's.
probably go for that merc. Yeah,
I
Flag
think he wants
contested.
to bait.
more.
the rest
Yeah.
of them. No, he's gonna come out right now.
Flag contested.
There's only a minute left. Just wasting some time is probably worth it, right?
Contested.
He's just gonna hit a couple
Flag
units.
captured.
He'll be
Yeah.
lucky if he kills the goal.
Flag
Now he just
captured.
freezes it.
Flag
Well,
Yep.
it wasn't a total
contested.
waste.
Yeah, that's fine.
Flag
But Kruniak definitely
captured.
got the short end of the stick there. I don't know if he was
Yep.
able to take
30
out
seconds
Arsenic's.
remaining.
No, Arsenic is alive and well, but yeah, he's being
Flag
shadowed right
contested.
now. He's pretty much done.
Flag
And
captured.
you know, there's very little that agents can hope to accomplish at this point. There's 15 seconds left. They're nowhere anywhere
Flag
near as
contested.
many flags as they need to be at.
Flag
And
captured.
Sam, although takes on a
Flag
few spiders
captured.
and is able to take a flag at the last minute, but they only have 2 flags at this
Flag
point.
contested.
Yeah, I mean they just
Back
lost
down to 1.
way too many units in the middle there.
Yeah, definitely. So that was, I mean, that was kind of curious. Like, how do you think they could have avoided that? Do you think the warlocks just came in handy, or, you know, what do you think was?
Flag
Well, I mean,
captured.
if they're not going to get warlocks, clearly they were trying to rush or something,
Do you
right?
think it was
But
the pus? The pus just didn't work out. this
the
game?
pus didn't really help them. I guess it's just with all that weird terrain, it's too easy to dodge, like over a hill or something, right?
Definitely, because you can just walk up the terrain. They can't.
Yeah,
really
and they can't throw it up. Exactly. So I think that was tough. And given their trade, getting locked up in that north area with nowhere to get out, just ended up like it was just a slaughter.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of got stuck in a corner. Plus, they lost a lot of units. You know, they were able to kind of push and take out a warlock, but at what cost? I mean, they lost a lot of melee. They took out a lot of gas, but gas are like empty kills. You know, they're hardly anything.
Yeah, Wayward One's saying in the chat there just a map familiarity issue, and I'd agree that's probably pretty accurate. Given more play on this map, I doubt probably the trade would have been different. Probably they wouldn't have gone up to that north area, but you know what? To be honest, stuff happens. So
Yep, certainly does. It looks like GKG pulling it out for his team. If that could be said of anyone. 94 damage, 23 kills, and only 12 losses. Yeah, that's going to be more than double like anyone on his team or on the other team.
yeah, I think he got a lot of free kills right at the end with that last flag too.
Looks like Limp actually did pretty well for Agents. 14 kills and 12 losses, 47 damage. That's going to be the most for their team. So, yeah, interesting. I didn't quite see what Limp had.
He had part of that North Force, but I didn't see whether he had a FG as well.
Oh, you know what? He was let out. He was the part that got let out.
Went
remember?
bottom, yeah, right.
Yeah. All right, so that's going to be Game 2 in this QR2 match, and we'll see you in Game 3 coming up. All right, and we're back. It's game number 3 in the QR2 match between Agents and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, so far it's split, 1 game apiece. And this is Rank and Defiled, I think is the name of this map. Punk, you there?
Yeah, I don't know this map at all. My first impression is that the color map is kind of ugly, but otherwise,
it's a little
we'll
simplistic.
see.
It looks like MS Paint.
Yeah, exactly.
MS Paint job, but
gradient.
yeah.
It's like a radial gradient of green from the middle, but yeah.
It's got some interesting. There's a sun, and I'm guessing that's the Islam.
Happy face. Yeah, I don't know.
I thought it was a happy face at first, kind of like a clown or something. But
it's
I
a
guess
Cyclops
it's supposed to be a
happy
moon
face.
with the
Yeah,
star.
probably. Yep.
So okay, so it looks like Agents are going to be captained once again by Wayward One. This is a capture, so this is going to be one of the only ball games I think that we'll see this Myth World Cup. I don't know if there's a lot of ball games in the DE or not, but typically they're not played too often, just because there's a lot of I guess opportunity to abuse having ball type games.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
I don't know. I think
blowing them off
people.
the mesh and things like
Yeah,
that.
right. I think people are kind of, at least if speaking for myself as well, I think people are kind of lazy in that, like, it just takes so much annoying micro to like move the balls in the right position and everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes they get stuck, and then you gotta send artillery units over and everything. It's just like, honestly, just want to kill stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of takes the focus away from actually playing the game, the action of and skill of killing the other team.
Yeah, I don't know how it'll be on this map as well, but on some maps the other problem is that there's a very obviously defensible place to put them for each team, and then it just becomes like, who gets to the middle one first?
Yeah, but there's no middle one on this.
Yeah, exactly. So this one seems a little silly because there's an even number of balls.
Yeah, that's gonna make things a little bit interesting because you can, that opens up the possibility of having a tie, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it'll just be like both people theoretically will go grab these two balls right away, bring them back somewhere central, and then what is it just a stalemate then? Like what what happens?
So, looking at the trades, have you noticed anything really quick? It looks like there's no archers for agents at all. That's one thing I noticed.
Yep. And 9 mortars, eh?
Game on.
Yeah,
Versus, I guess there's 7.
a lot of mortars versus a lot.
Oh no, you're right. There's 9 on this team too. Jeez.
But where are those unit trading points going into, if not archers?
Let's see.
Is that what it's going into?
And Stygians, right?
I guess so, but I mean, yeah, it looks like, looking at the percentages, they're getting, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 whites worth of pus. Agents
Right.
are versus
Yep.
no pus at all. And it looks
Yep.
like they're actually going to sink their whites.
Yeah,
So
2 whites.
That's pretty curious. I guess, they
Ball
anticipate being in a tie scenario and then just
Ball
guarding
captured.
those entry points with the
Ball.
And you
whites.
know what? I would totally anticipate something
Ball
similar.
captured.
So I guess there's 6 balls that each team starts with 1 as well, but that doesn't really change the situation at all.
Right, it's still an even number.
Yep.
So yeah, so that's kind of what I see. What I would anticipate is, they're gonna go grab the balls, dribble them back to their home base, and gather them up, somewhere, and defend that location. And it looks like, Rat King is kind of on the way doing that right now with his goal.
Oh, I see there's a couple loose pus on the map as well that the Gull are fighting over.
Interesting. I didn't notice that.
It's a weird map.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because, it doesn't look. It looks like a curated space. It doesn't look all that natural. It looks like
Yeah,
a park
so
or something.
exactly. I mean, I think the problem here in mid is that they invested in all these archers, which are all mid, and so realistically, the one team can't push versus them, but they're never going to get up this hill versus the mortars either, right?
It's
Like,
gonna be hard, yeah.
that's a significant hill.
So I don't know what they're thinking. Maybe they want to play defensively with their archers, because if they play defensively, that'd be great. But
Yep.
you still have to kind of figure something out, to kind of prevent a stalemate scenario. You have to send something offensive.
Yeah, but it seems like the the more likely problem would be trying to attack, failing, and losing so many units that you open up for a counterattack.
Yeah, so I don't know. There might be. This just might be a game
Yeah.
that invites stalemate.
I'm guessing that these 2 flanks are where the most interesting things are going to happen because they're at least a little bit flat.
Yeah,
Looks
this
like
one actually
the north
loses
one.
his goal there
Yep.
in the north. I don't know if you saw that.
Yep. Yeah. Didn't have any pus, but still.
But that's probably due to the infamous delay that he warned me about.
Just call him a noob. You know you want to.
Well, I know for a fact he's definitely not a noob. Like, I played a game with him
No, I
today
know.
where he beasted it, but
I know he's really good. I guess. I guess.
But he's playing like a noob. At least in these games.
Yeah. So look at this mid. I mean, they.
It's
Count
like
up how many
several-
points they have in archers and mortars and all that there, and like they can't push this without
There's
getting
no way. Yeah.
serious damage from those morts.
And but the archers do have flame arrows. That's another thing to consider.
Yep, that's true. No, I mean I'm not saying the archers are bad trades. I think effectively what I'm saying is that it's too hard to push on this map.
It's like
Oh, loses the journeyman to flame. That's a good pickoff.
Yeah, so he's probably going to be pushed back here, and these flame arrows just burn forever. Like
Definitely.
they don't really stop. I mean, they stop eventually, but
Yeah, so-
they spread for a while.
I mean, good job to their team here, but I'm concerned that they're just going to get bottlenecked at this water location, same as the middle one, right?
yeah, same as
We'll see.
Same as the south location.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they've got agents on the defensive, but I mean, when you get back to that cliff area, being on the defensive is a pretty powerful position.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't really know if you're captaining, Team Turtles at this point. What would you do?
I don't know, because that would depend on if there's potential for a tie, a draw, or if there's a clear winner. Like if they're in the lead right now, if you hit F7, you see they're on top. Are they actually in the lead, or
I guess, do you see them on top? I see them below.
Yeah, so they're basically playing for a draw.
Yep.
So I'm not really sure what they can do.
I don't actually remember how the captures thing works. Whether the first to tag makes any difference.
But you can see here that Eastwind is trying to do something like real mischievous. He's sending a Mercuridia around to try to contest these balls from down below. And it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it. Unfortunately, he can't go.
Well, you wouldn't give for a spider here, eh? Just shove it off the cliff.
Exactly.
So, I mean, the only way I see this going are them trying to push and getting annihilated, and then counter pushed, and then either stalemate or losing, or nothing happening.
Yeah, I don't really see. I honestly don't know what they can do at this point.
This honestly seems like kind of a questionable map pick, to be fair, but
Ball captured.
lose a gull there. I mean, unless someone screws it up. Oh, so somebody did touch a ball. Oh, I see. Do you see what happened?
No, I didn't.
I think Eastwind's Mercuridia touched that ball and briefly captured it.
But does that change anything?
Well, it put his team on the top on the scoreboard, so I'm guessing it does.
I guess that's a tiebreaker then. So whoever had the most amount of balls.
I guess it's whoever, the most recently or something. If you're tied, yeah. Yeah, so if it's tied 3-3, it's whoever had the most balls at some point in the game, probably. So they briefly had 4.
So there is a kind of a tiebreaker scenario. So yeah, that kind of changes everything, doesn't it? Because now agents definitely have to make a move.
I mean, that basically means that where they put that ball was a little bit silly. It was not ideal.
There wasn't a lot of foresight involved with these.
So I'm a little surprised that these archers are not just immediately falling back on the defensive, but maybe they don't want to be bored.
I think what they're doing is they're containing agents.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair.
They can't really
But I mean, it's
push.
not like they can go anywhere even if they come out, right?
Yeah, they can't really push, but they can ensure that they can make it so that agents.
Okay, here we go.
Move.
Some action mid.
So it looks like agents are going to be on the move. They've realized that they have to do something.
This would be a good time
And
for the flame.
If you look at the chat, you can see that they're like, yeah, we got to do something. So they are definitely moving at this point. They realize they have 4 minutes left, and if they wait much longer, they're not going to have any time at all. So they are going to attempt to rush. It looks like mid, but also at the other entry point in the north as well. Doesn't look like they're going to be doing anything south.
I think this all depends on whether or not they can make use of any of that pus, and whether they can get their mortars in range.
Ouch! That was a tough shot there. Looks like they do have a couple of pus that are kind of working their way through. They're going to pus Mercurdon's Dwarven mortar, but I think they've sustained too much damage. I don't know
I mean, ours has 2 morts that can just, if they start winning the melee fight, can just wipe out all that melee, right?
Yeah, and Sam kind of wasted his pus there. So I think they took out. Yeah, so they don't have any pus left in the mid.
Yeah, mid's going down. They lost this fight.
I mean, Professional Killer has a couple of morts, but they're all on their own. Like, there's nothing they can do against this. Mercurdon is probably going to lose that archer there. and he does, but he gets a he gets a shot off. And turtles are just gonna turtle it.
Yeah, so it looks like top north got rushed as well while we were chatting.
Yeah, and it looks like this one was a little bit more successful, actually.
Yeah, I
That
think
could
they'll
be the east wind factor.
probably win that, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, Osmo and ours have already fallen back to base, so it's not like they're gonna. Even if they mop up some units, I don't think they're gonna get
Paris
through.
has a 5-kill mortar dwarf, so he actually did pretty well in that exchange.
Nice. Looks like pretty much nothing going on south.
Yeah, south is just kind of a wash, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, the problem is, you know what? If if mid had made something happen there, then they would have been trying to defend 2 flanks. But I mean, they have something like 6 mortars that are all just going to camp this tiny little pass on the north. I don't think there's any way that they get through.
Well, so far they have 2, and I just don't know. With the force that they have, I don't think Paris and Limp can do anything, but they don't really have a choice.
Yep.
And actually, that was kind of well timed, slipping that. What the heck is going on?
A lot of duds.
Those didn't really look like duds, but I guess they were. And Limp is going to retreat. I guess you know, he saw what he was up against and realized it was suicide. So he's just playing for his dignity.
Even if the Merc weren't there, I don't think you could push that.
Yeah. No, but you see units streaming in to reinforce that.
Yep.
And there's less than a minute remaining. It looks like August has, and Rat King is doing some kind of taunt with that Mercuridia. I guess he's gonna move in. Nope.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. The the stupidity of the fact that their team was gonna win that at the start, even with no combat, and then the other team was gonna win because they managed to drop a Mercuridia on the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was basically a win for agents, but with the ball placement, I guess somebody was able to sneak in and tag it momentarily and put Turtles kind of in the lead. You can see the Turtle ball placement is a lot more logical.
Yes.
You know, not easily contestable from anywhere.
Yeah, I think enough people have been giving Limp a hard time about this pick, so I won't pile on. But it was I think it's fair to say it was a little silly.
Yeah, definitely. The one of the I would not say that was an action-packed game at all. It was kind of a bore, kind of a drag, to be honest. So yeah, it looks like Turtles are gonna pick up the win here though, and yeah, I guess August did better than anyone, and I think he was on the losing flank in the north.
Wait, you mean you're not going to go back and do a slow motion of the turning point in the game involving, the Merc running 1 foot beside the ball and then turning around?
I think there was ample time for people to figure out what happened there. But if you remember, August actually did that initial push that contained their northern flank, even though he lost his flank in the end.
Yep.
He was able to extract some damage early on. So that's going to be the highest amount of damage for the Ninja Turtles. However, Paris, with his 2 mortar dwarves and on the same flank, essentially, managed to kind of push him back and kind of do pretty well in his own right with 44 damage, 10 kills, and 7 losses there. So, kind of curious exchange. I mean, the damage figures aren't all that dissimilar, but you can see kills to losses is pretty, there's like a 10 digit spread there. 10 kills to losses difference for agents, and there isn't really a difference there for Turtles. And that's probably due to the fact that they had 6 whites healed early on.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the fighting was almost irrelevant in this game.
Yeah, it was kind of a letdown, but hopefully, hopefully things pick up in Game 4 coming up. So so far it looks like Turtles are up 2-1, and Game 4 is going to be next. And we're back. It's New Mutator joined by PunkUser once again. It is the QR2 match between Agents and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Agents are down, I believe. This is game 4, so they're down 2-1. They, after a pretty good showing in the first game, I guess Wayward One got out-traded in game number 2, and then some pretty poor ball placement cost them the game in game number 3. So they're looking to turn things around.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about game 3. Let's just call it 1-1.
Well, see, the thing is, they could have been in the lead at this point.
It's true.
But for whatever reason, they kind of perhaps game 3 was kind of a wake-up call for them. We'll see. This what's the name of this map again?
Spinach between teeth or something?
Yeah,
something like that.
I think that's the name. Yeah, I wonder why it's called that. So yeah, let's take a look at these teams once again, the various trades. Looks like pretty heavy on the thrall here for Giant Killer General.
Yeah, really heavy.
Really heavy.
Archers, thrall, only a couple warriors. I guess pretty heavy archers. But mostly went with warriors instead.
Here's the other thing. I recently casted a 1v1 with
only one dwarf, eh?
Yeah.
Sorry.
And he lost that game, and he only got one dwarf, and I think that might have something to do with it. I don't think it's probably not a good idea to get one dwarf on a 2-team map like this when you have the option for more.
I don't know. It all depends. In 1v1, it's a little more critical because if you get it pussed, you can be in trouble if you don't have enough melee.
Well, dwarves are typically the targets for pus goals, and both teams are opting for the maximum amount of pus, 4 ones worth. But the thing is, dwarves are also pretty good at defeating pus, blocking pus and things like that. So
yeah, it's a little risky though, but
true. But
a little risky to block pus. But thrall are great at blocking pus, right?
Well, that's the thing is, like, when thrall are engaged in a melee battle, they're not that they clump up. They tend to clump up. They're really slow, and then they're really vulnerable. So we'll see.
Right, but remember they get frozen for less time than other units, right? And they're relatively low. So if you freeze twice as many, you have to freeze twice as many thrall as warriors to be the same in terms of damage, right?
Yeah, once again, this is a map where you pick up fire arrows. Yeah, it looks like both teams are picking those up. There. So yeah, so it's capture the flag. I mean, how would you kind of predict this map / game type to play out?
On this map, but given these trades, I'm gonna guess they're one of two things. Either they're going to sink a pile of thrall and sort of try to sneak them around the side to get closer to it, and then either pinch or just kind of use them to support the push to the flag, or they're going to use the thrall just completely defensively and then just try to win the archer battle. I don't really know what their plan is. It looks like they're setting a bit of a flank to the east side here with August.
Yeah, the thing is, though, with the trade like GKG's, you have to win that archer battle. There's just no way you can't, because you have to counter their dwarves somehow.
Yeah, I mean, unless they can get them all with pus, right?
Yeah, but that's not too incredibly likely. And the fact that, I mean, even if you were to do that, they still have all their pus, and you only have one dwarf. So all your archers are probably going to
I mean...
bye-bye. And then
I've seen JKG pull off weird slow thrall pushes, so I wouldn't completely count it out, but I agree that would be atypical.
True. So I mean, anything can happen, and he probably has some idea of like what he wants to do. My guess would be some kind of slow thrall push here as well. Doing some kind of thrall wall maneuver, using them to soak up some arrows and trying to snipe the enemy archers.
Yeah, so looking at this south side, though, I'm a little concerned. Like, look at that hill that Samuel is on. That seems like it's going to be really hard to push against with the dwarf and the archers up there.
Yeah, I would just forget about that. Like, I don't even think I would try to cross
just
there.
send it somewhere else.
You might be able to go around the far south, you know, the very bottom, and try to cross there.
Yeah, I mean, the only real entrance across the river that they've left open right now is this sort of eastern one, right? Yeah.
Which...
I
see.
The only opening for Giant Killer General's team, the Turtles.
Right. Yeah, that would be probably their best bet, but even then they would have to be pushing uphill to get there. But it looks like the north, I think, is probably their best bet at this point because it's relatively even. In terms of that opening.
They also don't have any archers up there right now.
Yeah, it's
So
relatively
should be able to push that a
undefended
bit.
as well. Yeah. I mean, you can see Paris kind of waiting in the wings with his warriors. So that's a little bit misleading, maybe. Puss goes down on Mercadon, but I don't think he's going to end up losing that goal.
Even if he does, he only got one. Oh, no. Didn't get him.
And so, you know, Paris ends up losing that goal. Or not a goal, but a Puss.
Yep.
And he's going to try to disrupt and maybe get some crucial information about...
Man, there is a lot of pus on the north there.
You mean for Giant Killer General's team with Raccoon?
Yep.
Yeah.
What is there? 7, 8, 9 pus?
That's a lot of goals. And almost all of them are carrying pus.
Yep.
Imagine. Yeah, so that's 5 there. Actually,
10.
there might be some pus bombs.
It could, yeah, you're right. You're right with the water. That's probably
Because
likely.
I think there's only 8.
Yeah,
with,
10
potential
10
pus
big
here.
pus seems like overkill, so there must be some bombs in there.
There's got to be something going on. Plus, I think there's pus elsewhere on the map.
Okay.
Team.
Not much happening in mid, it looks like.
Well,
I'm a little
killer. Yep.
I'm a little confused by ours and Eastwind's positioning right now. They're not really guarding a crossing. They're just kind of standing back
Contested.
out of the fight. You know what I mean?
Well, you have to remember, like, Eastwind had that delay issue, so that's going to, you know...
Ah, come on, that can't affect his strategy.
Not strategy, but, I mean, his performance in the game.
Sure,
So, I mean,
sure.
that he's not going to want to put himself in danger unnecessarily.
I suppose that's true.
And, you know, Arsenic, I don't know what he's doing. It looks like he's sort of migrating, going back and forth, and seeing, you know, if there's kind of an opening, he can kind of, you know, peek in and see what's happening.
Yeah, just that whole side of the map seems really undecided. There's no one actively attacking them, but yet they're just standing around. It seems like it would be worthwhile for them to shift some of those units that are pretty much doing nothing.
Here we go. There's
away.
Mercadon is kind of slipping through. And it looks like I don't know what he thinks he's doing. He might have a pus bomb. But, you know...
Okay, looks like ours is going to, yeah.
Criniac and Paris are kind of spread out, so it's not going to do a whole lot.
Yep.
And it looks like, yeah, the order has been given to kind of proceed and engage mid. Looks like everybody's slowly kind of making their way there.
Yeah, so those thrall are cool in that they could walk through that way, but given that there's a cliff right behind where they walk through, it's not as big an advantage as you'd think.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's once you get on the island, there's like barriers impeding movement still. So
yeah, I mean, it's like
even
float,
harder.
right? It's gonna be hard to push that hill.
You're going uphill, plus you know there's bottlenecks involved.
Oh, that seems like a mistake.
What?
Eastwind just threw down pus on a journeyman.
Well, you know, he's having some issues, man.
Yeah,
okay,
alright.
so Giant Killer General says, you know, bottle pussers go in, so that confirms our suspicions.
Yep.
Flag.
Not sure if, but the thing is, Agents is really spread out really well here. And, you know, the goals for the Turtles are taking some damage. Yeah, like I see one bottle pus goes down, and it only manages to take out one archer, I should say, so... That's not a whole lot.
Yeah, this whole push on the north side seems really hesitant, right? Like they walk forward 3 feet, turn around, walk back. And I know you gotta be careful, but they've spent some pus now and not been able to capitalize on it because their archers haven't been in range.
Yeah, Mercadon's pus bomb didn't work out.
Yeah, it didn't work either.
Oh, but what the heck was that? Did you see that? I think Limp just did a whole ton of friendly fire. No, that's not friendly fire damage. Who was that?
That's GKG's Warriors. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, there's no way that can be friendly fire damage. Oh man, so
Yeah, I mean, he ended up pushing and most of the other people, and it looks like in the meantime, Paris has gone around the north side too. But surprisingly, actually, Arsenick's side seems to have taken the hill there.
yeah, so I think they've actually taken the terrain advantage. However, they are down in percentages, 68, 51%.
Yep.
So the rest of his team is kind of out of it. So while he's enjoying an advantage right now, I can't imagine that's going to last for very long.
He doesn't have enough melee. They're just gonna get rushed by these.
Right, and then
Warriors,
Professional
right?
Killer has his dwarf moving up as well, so I don't think he's going to be able to take those out. Or he does take that out, okay. Arsenic is able to get that dwarf at the last second, but at the expense of basically his whole force here that's going to get cleaned up.
Mm.
August is doing kind of a fighting retreat here, but he's
So-
kind of...
Take a look at the flag. Paris managed to get 4 warriors through versus 6 thrall.
Yeah, I don't think 4 warriors is going to be able to do that.
One of them's red though. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
Mercadon has a Puskull or something.
Oh yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's a couple.
Thrall coming back.
Well,
Yep.
Paris can vet up on these thrall.
5
If that's not
True.
actually a Puskull.
Well, I mean, it must have at least small pus, right?
Yeah, it should have something.
Yeah, you're right
And
on
actually,
this vetting up.
Yeah, they're going to be in pretty good shape because they're not taking very much damage at all.
Yeah, 1v1.
And so with those vets, I mean, they're looking to do pretty well against that thrall pack.
A couple more Gaul coming back though. I don't think it should be a pro. Oh,
Yeah, but
they're
they're leaving.
leaving.
Because August is reinforcing, but if Paris plays his cards right, he might be able to take out a couple of these.
Yeah.
However, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Definitely be
Here he goes.
dicey.
Here he goes. He's going to go for it.
Yeah. The problem is you can do this sort of thing where one of the thralls not even in the fight, right?
2 of them actually. He
Yep.
he takes them out of the battle, and yeah. So that was
It's well played.
Yeah, that was that old maneuver where you lure them out. But yeah, there's nobody here. Professional Killer is kind of lagging, so he's not quite there. Paris is able to take out a couple more of those thrall. It's looking pretty interesting here. If he takes out one more, nope, he's going to be taken out. That was a pretty good effort, though. If those archers weren't there, I think that would have.
Honestly, that was closer than I would have run away the other Gaul myself.
That was closer than I would have anticipated. Let's see. So 50 to 26%. It's just a matter of time, I think, because while August is here, and he is going to be able to defend, there is just too many archers. Like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles haven't won the archer battle. There's 3 minutes left, and you know their thrall isn't going to be able to do a whole lot. I mean, you know, even if they do manage to clean up some of these archers, there are enough archers here for agents to just peck away at these thrall and
yeah, I
reduce
mean
their
this
effectiveness.
archer flank and 2 dwarves can clean this up themselves, right? Like,
Right. And
yeah, there goes a bunch.
Yeah. And that's exactly what they're doing.
Flag
I mean, you know, these who is this? Osmodian?
Flag contested.
It doesn't even need to be here. And Mercadon. But looks like they're going to actually hold the flag for now, although they're taking some damage here from Sam. Sam is doing some damage. And Wayward One, interestingly enough, has he has a lone warrior in there. Oh, nice pus bomb, but it doesn't manage to do the damage that they needed.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Mercadon's going to try to make a last stand here, but there's not a whole lot he can do. Samuel's here, and they're just going to take the flag. So interesting. What do you think?
I don't know. It was an interesting game. I mean, I guess, like retrospectively, the thrall thing
could have worked.
It could have worked.
It needed the pus bombs.
Yeah. I mean,
It
I guess they
needed
got a
those
little
to work.
unlucky on some of those pus bombs, to be
Well,
fair, but
the other thing is, I think maybe agents might have they might have guessed what the strategy was, because you can see how spaced out they were. They weren't really giving them an opening for these pus bombs until the very end there, and even then they spread immediately. So
yeah, honestly, I think with their push in mid was a little disorganized too, right? Like they had one side coming in while the other side was still getting set up. They had pus going down on stuff while one of their flanks was falling back to try to deal with something else. So I think that needed to be a lot better time to really pinch that mid properly. But it happens.
And I mean, perhaps if they had some more doors. I mean, I honestly don't know. I think that could have worked out differently, given But with the trade that they had, I think they were kind of at a disadvantage from the get-go. Because I think agents just.
I mean, it's hard to say though. Like more dwarves at the end wouldn't have helped. They would just get
not at the end. But I mean,
right?
in the fray, it might have helped a little bit.
If they had dwarves that could have prevented their mid from being overrun, that would have made a big difference, right? But yeah.
All right, so let's look at some of these individual players. It looks like, surprisingly enough, Eastwind took damage for his team with 20 damage, only 4 kills and 11 losses, though. And GKG, even with healing all those whites, I guess you could say that he had damage, but since you incur negative damage when you heal those whites, and that was 4 whites healed, so I guess that's what 30 damage if minus the whites being healed. So I guess
yeah, right.
I guess he got damage for his team, but only 5 kills to 22 losses. I guess that most of that was Thrall. And it looks like Samuel actually pulled it out for his team with 10 kills, 21 damage, and actually professional killer had 11 kills. So, but Samuel had 5 survivors. So yeah, it wasn't too terribly close, but looking at the damage figures, they're not too far apart either. But when you look at kills, it's day and night.
Yeah, but I mean the kills was just the Thrall trade, right?
Essentially. All right, so that's going to be it for game number 4. Join us in game number 5 coming up next.
Flag captured. Team eliminated. Game over.
All right, and we're back. It's New Mutator, and I'm with PunkUser. We're casting the QR2 match of the Myth World Cup between Agents and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I guess it's tied up at 2. Punk, you here?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
sorry. You dropped there for a second. I was going to say, tiebreaker match.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the game that will decide it all. So far, it's Agents started out with the handy win in Game 1. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles responded with 2 wins of their own, basically stealing Game 3 away from, stealing that away from the Agents. And Agents responded in kind, winning Game 4, and here we are, Game number 5.
You can see Eastwind commenting about his Dropbox issues in chat.
Yeah, there we go. That's going to be a running gag, I think. It's such a believable post excuse.
So what do you think of this map?
I'm actually not really a huge fan of this map, to be honest. And, I don't know what it is. I'm not sure why. Because, I mean, it looks nice, and I like the colors and stuff like that. I don't like where you start out really in this really crowded, like, town area. You know what I mean?
Yep, totally. Actually, and I tend to agree with you, but I think my main complaint about this map is that, the unit trade seems, completely let's pick every single unit and put it on a map type thing, right? There's just so many unit types that it seems like the map designer didn't really have a clear idea of what they were trying to accomplish.
Well, there's only eight possible unit types to choose from. But so I mean, it's kind of like a standard dark map, sort of, except instead of.
But with HG, right? And
Yeah, you got Huron. So I guess it's kind of like. I guess it's kind of like a proving grounds ish trade, except with Solus.
Yeah, except the number of HG I think makes it weird because you can heal the yeah, in Mercuria. You can heal the Trow so much, right? And also the other thing is they traded them all away, but there's Myrmidons on this too, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. And the other thing too that's interesting is, Solus. Do you get them or not? I mean, because they can hover over water. So they can easily cross.
Game on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the trade from Giant Killer General looks pretty similar to what I guess he's done.
Solus. Yeah, no Solus here.
Yeah, I've seen him do something twice on this map. Once when I was on his team in the Winter Series, where he basically rush mid, but send a flank around first, so that because the problem is if once you commit to mid on this map, you have nowhere to back out because of the way the wall is there behind you. So if you can get a flank around behind, you can get a really nasty pinch on anything that's gone mid. So that's what he did with I think it was the Bulls a couple of years ago in Myth World Cup. And we also did that in TWS, and it was pretty effective. Although in TWS, both teams did the same thing, so it was just a bit of a BC fest in the mid. Be interesting to see if he does it again this time. There's although you know what, what is their team name again? Whatever, Wayward One's team Agents. Yeah, they've already spread out all the way to the edge of the map, so they're gonna spot any flank.
Yeah, it's almost like they know what's coming.
Flag captured.
Yeah, I mean they may not be doing that strategy, but we'll see. Have you seen any units heading off to the edges? So,
for who?
Oh, there's a couple Merc north.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. There's the flank. Yeah, GKG's got a north flank there definitely, but it's going to be spotted by Paris.
Oh, yeah, it's already spotted. And the thing is, if that rush doesn't work, that's going to be bad for GKG's team because of the presence of these Solus for agents. I mean, the Solus are going to be able to just pick at the units for GKG's team. And, I mean, the whole point of a rush is you're not taking damage from artillery or ranged units. You just close the gap and you immediately engage. You're not taking damage over time like that.
So this is interesting because GKG's team actually still has an advantage in this rush in that they have almost their whole team there, whereas Paris is off doing nothing and
Kruniak.
What's his name? Kruniak is off doing nothing. The problem is that the problem is they didn't get a pinch on them, right? So they're just gonna fall back. And you really don't want to go through that gate with all those melee, right?
Oh, interesting. Nice shots. Couple of nice shots there from.
Oh my!
Looks like
that Trow is getting hammered by those souls.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what the souls are meant to do. Is just focus down that Trow. And a couple of nice shots from Limp here is going to soften up those mauls quite a bit. And here we go.
Interestingly, they got Sam's. Yeah, they got Sam's Trow too, but they've managed to hold their mauls back quite a bit while just peppering them with mortar shots.
It's really close. No, they finally got that kill with the Solus. Oh,
yeah, all the Solus just went down. Yeah.
I didn't quite see who that was. I think it was August. He managed that.
Kruniak's dicking around in the mid a bit, but he may be able to come in here in a second.
Yeah, and actually, agents are looking pretty okay for the time being. I mean, they got some artillery on the scene arriving with Paris there. And yeah, looks like they just took out that mortar dwarf, so they have superiority right now, and I think that's going to last for quite some time with Kruniak arriving from behind. So that happens so fast.
Could I get a quick time check, by the way?
6 minutes and 5 seconds right now.
Okay, thanks.
Are you where I am at?
I'm a little out of sync, but I'll get it back together in a second.
As long as you're not OOS.
No, I'm I'm just a little ahead. Let me know when you get to 540.
Okay. Wow, you're pretty far ahead, aren't you? Well, it doesn't really matter a whole lot. 540 right now. It looks like August is going to try to do some last-minute damage, but he is the last remaining artillery unit for his team, and I don't think he's going to be able to stand a chance.
No.
He does a suicide shot, but all they got left are these mauls, and they're just going to get picked apart. Ripped apart.
They got annihilated, literally eliminated.
That happened so fast. Like, what were you able to catch exactly like how that happened?
Well, I think honestly the majority of the damage they took was in the middle when they came through and they got clumped up on their side of the wall there, because I guess wisely they sent their trow in and a couple guys to slow them down, but they kept the majority of their melee force back, which allowed them to just throw mortar shots down on all of the melee from the turtles and do all that damage. So
I gotta hand it to agents. I mean, they knew exactly. They were kind of outgunned. They saw what was happening, but they fell back and they were able to kind of do the damage that they needed to do. Like Limp was off to the side, doing damage as soon as the turtles poked through. He was able to get some nice shots off, and as you can see, you know, he had damage for his team.
Yep.
And kills too.
Yeah, I mean, in crazy like double attacks like that, rushes, things can go either way. But I think ultimately they ended up having a few units in there that delayed long enough while they just threw down some really damaging mortar shots. So. Yeah,
and the Solus didn't hurt too much. I mean, they all got taken out, but
right.
You know, how many Solus was that? I didn't quite see, but they definitely did a lot of damage as well.
That's the thing. They basically killed the trow themselves. So.
And you know, looking at the turtles, it looks like August actually got kills and damage for his team with 46 damage, 16 kills. I think is going to be the most in this particular game. And you know, if you remember, he had the last mortar for his team.
Yes.
So he had a nice shot on the Solus actually. I think that was most of his damage.
That's probably most of it right there. Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, even though it seemed bad at the start, Kruniak having that flanking force and Paris being off to the side as well ended up being decent because the guys in the mid, while they technically lost that fight, they did a ton of damage. And then when the quarter of the force that was Kruniak and Paris came back, they just destroyed everything that was left. So.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was like, Paris, his team was able to kind of fall back to where he was, and he was kind of able to move in and kind of refresh their forces a little bit, the strength of their force.
Yep.
And Kruniak was just, it's better to have attack the enemy on more than one front. So he came in from behind and kind of slowed down the advance of the turtles. At the same time, tied up some of their artillery and whatnot. So that couldn't have hurt too much, even though he was out of the fight at the beginning.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I guess they just did. I mean, it's a tight area, so they did a good job of, doing the damage when the rush came in. I think it would have been important for, like I said, normally you try to get that flank around behind that mid so that they can't fall back through that area. But since it got spotted by Paris, I guess, I don't know, maybe, do you think they should have changed their plan at that point, or what?
Who, the turtles?
Yeah.
I don't know what else they could have done with the trade that they had. I'm not really sure.
That's true, actually. Yeah, they probably would have lost the mid-fight, so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Paris said something about how he and Kruniak knew exactly what Giant Killer General's strategy was going to be. I mean,
they clearly went to both sides of the map immediately, so, yeah.
Yeah, they were scouting that out, so they kind of had a good idea of what to expect, and I think that served them well here in Game 5. So that's going to be that. Agents are going to come out with the win here in the QR2 in their match against Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I guess we're going to sign off. This is New Mutator. Thanks for watching this match, and thanks again, PunkUser, for helping out.
My pleasure.
And we'll see you in the next match.
Game over.